past. You go and, draft Cardozo and Reese, basically two of the same player, meaning bigs that can't step out and shoot. So it's a little bit of a clown show when you talk about the Chicago Sky.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
I pitched today. It's like 5 in the morning. We hammer it. He tells everyone, listen, I'm telling you guys, Esteban Loaiza is in no condition to pitch tonight. We all hammer it. We bet against the Toronto Blue Jays. We even went to the game, Scott, even. Esteban Loaiza, word of no lie, bro. He threw 8 innings, a one-hit ball.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
He says, you can't get in the position Tiger, Rory, Justin Thomas. Those guys are this tall. You're never gonna be as flexible as them. You got a lot more leverage and you got a lot of more moving parts than those dudes.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Big injuries in the NFL, plus Adam Silver, Rob Manfred, ESPN's Jimmy Pitaro, and more to speak at Front Office Sports Tuned In event on Tuesday. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Front Office Sports Today from FOS Studios in New York City. I'm Baker Machado.
And I'm Renee Washington, and thanks so much for joining us to start off this week as we chat the biggest stories happening in the business and culture of sports. We also have former Cardinals legend Adam Wainwright and Eagles great, Bears great Alshon Jeffrey on later. But first, let's dive right into the headlines in the shooter.
Yeah, let's start in the NFL. Not good news for the Bengals, Renee. They're going to be without quarterback Joe Burrow, at least for the next 3 months. As ESPN's Adam Schefter says, Burrow is going to need toe surgery. This after he left the second quarter of Cincinnati's win over Jacksonville. Now, this will likely be Burrow's 3rd lost season in his first 6 years in the league. This after he tore his ACL in 2020, and he's also been dealing with wrist and toe injuries as well over the last few years.
Yeah, this is the biggest injury we've heard so far. I mean, we've already seen the 49ers dealing with George Kittle, Brock Purdy, Kyle Juszczyk. We've seen Justin Fields entered concussion protocol for the Jets. There's been a couple others throughout, but this is the most alarming because, to your point, since 2020 as that #1 overall pick, it's been a lot of injuries for Joe Burrow. And the Bengals have worked into his contract, specifically when he signed that record-setting $275 million 5-year extension a couple seasons ago, some injury contentions of guaranteed money that he's getting paid regardless. But for the Bengals, they have been 2 games shy of a 500 record in the games that he's missed, and now you wonder with him out for at least 3 months, what will that look like for Cincinnati, especially after having a great win? That's what they should be talking about, that comeback win. Their first 2-0 start in about 7 seasons, but instead, there's doom and gloom in Cincinnati.
Yeah, Burrow has $107 million in guaranteed injury money in his contract. Well, after both opening their seasons 0-3, UCLA and Virginia Tech fired their head football coaches over the weekend. Struggling mightily since joining the Big Ten, the Brewers will now pay Deshaun Foster $7 million for the rest of his contract. This after he went 5-10 during his tenure there. The Hokies, meanwhile, are off to their worst start since 1987, and that led to Brent Pry to be removed after his 4th season with the team. Virginia Tech's going to pay him more than $6 million in his buyout, so costly firings already.
I know, but it makes me wonder, as something that we've talked a lot about with NIL and transfer portal, creating this free agency vibe in college sports, that also puts pressure on the coaches that now, if you're not winning in those first couple games of the season, your job is on the line even sooner. They're not waiting. I mean, this is the quickest firing UCL has had dating back to a very long time, I should say. It's the shortest full-time coach that they've had with that 15-game stint for Foster. And from day one of this Big Ten Media Day, it's been a little bit bit concerning. I remember him saying, we're UCLA. If you don't know anything about us, we're in California with USC. From there on, there's been a lot of eyes on him and concerns. And then you bring in, and you've got Nico Yamaleava as a transfer from Tennessee.
Yep.
You have low attendance. You're not getting the excitement. You're losing games. And the same thing for Virginia Tech. And both teams losing to unranked opponents to start off the season. So it's definitely made it, as the school officials Virginia Tech said, unacceptable in how they're playing.
Yeah, those photos of the sparse crowds at the Rose Bowl for UCLA is crazy. Something you'd never think for a team that's in the Big Ten, or even just how dominant they were in the Pac-12. Well, the Terrence Crawford-Canelo Alvarez match at Allegiant Stadium in Vegas over the weekend, which, by the way, was Dana White's first boxing event and was live-streamed on Netflix, drew an attendance of over 70,000 people. That is the largest crowd ever to see a boxing match in Vegas, and also shattered the previous record of 29,000 people who saw Larry Holmes and Jerry Cooney at Caesars Palace back in 1982. Renee, it also represents the biggest crowd ever in the 5-year-old Allegiant Stadium ever. That includes the Super Bowl, Raiders games. They've had WWE matches. That's insane.
Well, there's a lot of eyes on that deal with Dana White, TKO overseeing, just because they also announced WrestleMania is going to be in Saudi Arabia in 2027. So everybody's watching, what are they going to do in boxing, in wrestling? How's it going to pan out? And so far, in addition to that fight being extremely late and very much past my bedtime, but I stayed awake to watch it, it is remarkable to see the numbers that they were able to pull in. As you mentioned, shattering records that go back decades. Also, the gate revenue, that $47.2 million, the third largest figure in boxing history behind 2015 Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, and 2017 Conor McGregor and Mayweather. So not only getting the viewership, but also getting the gate and the finances as well to back it up. Great start for Dana White and his crew.
I was just going to say, he's making a big splash now in the boxing world. Well, Front Office Sports 2 Den event will feature conversations with commissioners like Adam Silver and Rob Manfred, plus ESPN President Jimmy Pitaro, and even Stephen A. Smith will be broadcast live on X on Tuesday, September 16th here in New York City. So what can we expect to hear from some of these big names? Well, let's take a look in today's main event. All right, and let's bring in FOS Media and Entertainment reporter and also one of the moderators at the Tuned In event on Tuesday, Ryan Glasspiegel. So, Ryan, let's start first with some of the commissioners that are going to be speaking. Obviously, Rob Manfred will be there, Kim Eng, the softball lead as well, and Adam Silver will be speaking. I'm curious, what are going to be some of the things that you're going to be interested that he's going to be talking about?
Well, it was kind of rude of him to give like a big press conference on the Clippers last week. He could have saved all that. Jeez, Adam, like throw us a freaking bone. Yeah. But the situation with the Clippers is front and center of everybody's mind, and I'm sure that he's going to be like, okay, well, there's an investigation, okay, but like still, I think that there will be some morsel of news that comes out of that, and then we want to know if and when the NBA is going to expand. I'd be interested to know, I don't know if we're going to ask this or not, but I'd be interested to know what he thinks about this rumors that LeBron and Maverick Carter are gearing up to start a competing league. And then, the WNBA collective bargaining agreement is about to be up when these playoffs are up. And so there's no shortage of things to talk about with him.
Yeah, on the media side, lots of options as well. So we're going to have ESPN chairman Jimmy Pitaro, as well as Fox Sports CEO in Eric Shanks.
Which he's moderating that.
Correct. So as you get to be on that conversation with Eric Shanks, and you talk through ratings, we've had so much conversation around media deals. What are you most looking forward to getting insight on?
I'm interested with Fox specifically on how they handle the logistics for the World Cup. I know that seems like it's forever away, but think back 8 months ago, that was the new year. We're about that far away from the World Cup. It's going to come up before we know it. And they've got about over 100 games in 16 different cities in 3 countries in 5 weeks. During the group stage, they're going to have over 70 games in 3 weeks. How are they going to handle the announcers, the cameras, the trucks? There's just so much things to keep track of. And by the way, security with this fraught political environment that we're in. I mean, that just figuring out all of that seems like figuring out basically like running a whole country to me.
I know, especially given the fact that most World Cups you have to deal with just sort of the foreign press and you're using rights and feeds from other countries, but or other places. This is a different ballgame because you have everything here in the United States
and the continent, all of North America.
But then on Jimmy Pitaro from ESPN, look, they just launched, like Fox did, a new streaming platform as well. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of questions about the future of sports media that both of these executives are going to have to answer.
Yeah, I mean, Fox took a while to get into direct-to-consumer streaming. So, like, kind of all of Fox's competitors were involved in this land war of, like, just trying to build up, you know, libraries and everything else, maybe in and out of sports for their streaming services. Well, Fox is like, you know, we're going to sit on the side and watch you guys shovel money into a coal oven and see how that goes for you. And now they're launching pretty lean. I think they learned a lot of lessons from watching what everybody else did. So it's definitely going to be interesting to talk about that.
Yeah, and some names we've been watching a lot throughout media are going to be there as well. And like Noah and Ian Eagle. I know Baker's sitting down with Stephen A. Smith and Clay Travis. I've got Maria Taylor. We've got a lot of Greg Olson, a lot of media personalities in attendance as well. What insight can they bring to Tuned In that we're most excited for?
I feel like the Olsen stuff will be really interesting because I still feel like he's reflective and chatting a lot about being basically, you know, taking a backseat to Tom Brady as the the second in command.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And every time he gets interviewed, he gets asked about that, and to his credit, he answers it honestly. He's like, "Yeah, I want to be a top guy. Look, I have no personal issues with Brady, but I want to be a top guy." And I would expect him to say something similar again. I mean, and then you're moderating this Clay Travis versus
Stephen A.
Smith debate, and so that's going to be, well, it won't be boring.
No.
Very true. Nothing will be boring at Tuned In.
And of course, you, at home can watch this as well. You can see full coverage of Front Office Sports' Tuned In event on X on Tuesday, September 16th. Glass, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And coming up next, the Chiefs are off to their worst start in the Patrick Mahomes era. We're asking former Bears and Eagles great Alshon Jeffrey if there's panic in Kansas City. That's next.
I pitched today. It's like 5 in the morning. We hammer it. He tells everyone, listen, I'm telling you guys, Esteban Loaiza is in no condition to pitch tonight. We all hammer it. We bet against the Toronto Blue Jays. We even went to the game, Scott, even. Esteban Loaiza, word of no lie, bro. He threw 8 innings, a one-hit ball.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
I needed a mental break when the season was over. Because it's a lot. It's a lot. You get tired of training. But, man, I never get tired of playing golf. I love it. I mean, every course is different. Every day is different. And some days you're like, oh, I got this. I got it. Then you go out there and shoot a 95 the next day. I'm like, damn.
The Smiley Show. Only on SportsGrid.
Quarterback or coach has to answer for it.
Right.
Goff, Campbell. Listen, I'm not firing Dan Campbell already. I might be shipping Goff. I don't know, but I think the Lions. Again, it's week 1. Are we overreacting? I think the panic meter in Detroit is blaring. I think people are wondering, when do the Pistons start?
Pro Football Today. Only on SportsGrid. It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
And welcome back, friends, to Front Office Sports Today with Renee Washington and Baker Machado. Well, what a week 2 in the NFL. The Chiefs now off to their worst start in the Patrick Mahomes era. There's a renewed push to get rid of the tush push. And what is happening in Chicago? Well, we have a lot of questions to ask, and only one person can answer them all for us. Let's bring in Super Bowl champ and former NFL Pro Bowler Alshon Jeffrey, rocking his Eagles bucket hat this morning. Look at this. Alshon, we'll talk about the Eagles in a moment, but I think the bigger question here is what is going on with the Chiefs now down 0-2 this season. Are the tides turning in the NFL where now the road to the Super Bowl goes somewhere else outside of Kansas City?
I mean, I don't give much respect to them because they went to 3 Super Bowls in a row, so you can never underestimate them. I'm pretty sure they'll figure it out, though. It's just one of those things with football. It's ups and downs. I'm sure Andy Reid, Patrick, and the whole team, they'll have some players-only meeting, just figure it out. They'll get back to what they do best. I'm sure they'll figure that out.
Well, in the Eagles' win over the Chiefs in the Super Bowl rematch, there were a lot of storylines early around Patrick Mahomes running more yards, the back and forth, both teams just tackle things. But in the end, what ends up being the big story and controversy, the tush push. We've heard Tom Brady, Andy Reid come out and call on a missed false start. Adam Schefter also said the game was lost back in March when the NFL owners refused to ban the tush push. I'm curious, Alshon, your thoughts. Is it because it's hard to officiate it, or is it more because it's hard to stop and replicate it that the tush push has so much controversy around it?
I just think that's just something that we do well. We created it and we do it better than anyone else. If you look back at just speaking of Tom Brady, at the Patriots in the early 2000s, they did a lot of quarterback sneaks. It wasn't called a tush push, but they did a lot of quarterback sneaks. I just one of those things. It's just football. Like, there's no need to change the rules. That's something that we doing legally within the rights of the playbook, the rule system of if we get in 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. Everybody knows it's coming. It's your job to stop it. That's what you get paid to do if you're on defense. It's just like offense. We trying to execute. So I think it's just football. That's something that's always be around. That's never going nowhere. I mean, we just do it better than everybody else.
Well, given the fact that the Eagles have played so great in these first 2 games, and by the way, these are big games. The first game of the entire season against the Cowboys, and then you got the Super Bowl rematch against the Chiefs. It begs the question, are the Eagles, the title favorites right now?
I mean, I'm always going for us no matter what, but I just feel that I'm not going to look too far ahead. We just got to take it one game at a time. We got the Rams up next, so we on to the next one. We just keep on doing what we do best.
He's not
yes, short answer is yes. Long answer, it's a very long season. I agree with you on that, Alshon. But unfortunately, the season feels even longer for some teams that after the first 2 games have not had a great start this season. The Chicago Bears being one of them, as we've seen teams rolling out its first-year head coaches. It's teams that are trying to say they've done enough in the offseason to come back and be ready. And the Chicago Bears, one of those teams, not off to a hot start after a really bad loss this past weekend. What are your thoughts on their first 2 games in terms of performances? Is it time to hit the panic button for them?
I would say I'm kind of 50-50, but as far as division games, I believe they first 2 games of the season, they kind of behind the 8 ball with 2 division games against Minnesota and the Lions. So if I am a Bears fan, I will be a little bit worried because you can't get behind the 8 ball on division games. The Minnesota game, I would say I watched a little bit of that. I seen some positive things that they can build on. Yesterday, Detroit was looking like how they've been looking all last year and how they played everybody. So they was firing on all cylinders, so I can't really say too much about yesterday. But panic button, I'm sure everybody's in the building is alert, and it's definitely a lot of panic, whether you're a player in the front office and also as a fan. Just in general, you don't want to see your team lose. So I know for sure it's probably a lot of meetings coming up for them this week as well.
Well, let's stay with the Bears here, Alshon, because obviously the Bears announced just about a week or so ago their plan and intention to move out of Soldier Field and into the suburbs, into Arlington Heights. I'm curious, as somebody who has played for the Bears in a stadium with the beautiful landscape and skyscrapers right behind it, what's your thoughts on the team moving to the suburbs, and do you like when teams move out of the city?
I mean, Chicago's a beautiful city, one of the best cities in America, I believe, and cleanest cities. But I would say their facilities is actually a little bit more closer to Arlington Heights than closer to the city. So that's a huge commute commute if you're a player. So, I mean, I guess we'll have to see. Like,
it looks like a beautiful stadium, but you always feel bad for these fans who are accustomed to one thing for forever, playing at Soldier Field in the city, and you're moving out of the city.
But everything we know, change is always good.
True.
It could be a good or bad thing. So, you know, them changes could change the culture, and moving out there could be a lot better. You never know. So,
Alshon, while we have about a minute or so left with you, I'm curious your take on the NFL Players Union. Obviously, there's been a renewed push from a lot of players to get a former player to represent you guys in the union, given the fact I don't think you guys have had a former player represent you since Gene Upshaw, which was feels like decades ago. What's your thoughts on just this whole situation, and are you really hoping a former player represents you guys?
Yeah, I'm really hoping for that. I'm a big advocate for that. Like, nobody can understand us better than a player. Like, to be in those shoes, to feel everything we feel and going through the things that we're going through. I'm not saying that the current guy is not doing a great job, but I feel like it's better for a player to be in that position and just represent us better and have a more understanding.
Yeah, there has been criticism of just the players having the support of their union or lack thereof. Did you notice any of that during your time playing?
I've been in those meetings. I will honestly say it gets intense in there I've heard it be intense. I've been in those meetings. I can't say that. It's been intense. So for a guy who's not a former player, it's been intense from the player side of it. So I can honestly say that. Nothing like violent happened, but it's been some intense conversations.
Interesting. Alshon, really quickly while we still have you, is Taylor Swift going to be performing at the Super Bowl halftime show?
Hey, we welcome that. You know, it don't matter. You know, she's an ego at heart. She's from
She's an
ego at heart, so it's all love.
And she'll be performing with the Eagles playing. It'd be perfect.
Yes, exactly.
So
I knew this was where it was all coming.
It's great.
Wait, do you believe in, or where do you stand on Jalen Hurts and the Eagles? I know there's still some people that are doubters of Jalen Hurts specifically, but the Eagles as a whole. I defend them day in and day out. What are your thoughts on just the criticism that they continue to face, especially Hurts?
Jalen's just going to keep the main thing, and just keeping his head down and just keep going. Like, people going to talk and say no matter what. Like, as long as we winning, that's all that matters.
Super Bowl champ of his own, former NFL Pro Bowler Alshon Jeffrey joining us here on Front Office Sports. Thank you, Alshon.
Thank you for having me. And fly, Eagles, fly.
Yeah, oh gosh, this cannot be over anytime soon. All right, guys, don't go anywhere. We got former Cardinals pitcher Adam Wainwright joining us next. Don't go anywhere.
It was nice to see that even though they couldn't follow the same blueprint as last season, or just the way that everyone thought their offense was going to run this year, Josh Jacobs struggled and Jordan Love stepped up. And if you're a Packer fan, that's what you were hoping to see, is that in the moments where you can't rely on the run, can the quarterback that you invested a lot of money into, now draft capital, putting weapons around him, rise to the occasion, and he did.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
There's a little bit of a kerfluffle earlier today when there's an exception taken to a punt that wasn't given, and just the reactions were pretty unilateral from both sides of like, hey, that's not behavior that we're going to tolerate at this type of competition.
Can you talk to me about kerfluffle again? Can you run that word back? I've never heard that word before.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Who wants to go to Chicago in February for a Super Bowl? Hey, the NFL can host outdoor parties on Lake Michigan. Stop the madness at this point. But now I take a look at the Denver Broncos. Always fun in the Mile High City. Why? Because what a home field advantage. It's at elevation. It's going to be cold. It might snow, and Denver's going to have that advantage. You know what Denver goes? We're going to build a world-class facility that's going to be a dome.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
Number one in front office sports today with Renee Washington and Baker Machado. Well, the Major League Baseball playoff race is officially on. 7 teams right now in the National League are just within 4 games of the wild card race right now. This after the Brewers were the first team in Major League Baseball to clinch a playoff spot. So let's bring in 3-time All-Star and former Cardinals World Series champ Adam Wainwright. Adam, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys.
All right, so we'll talk some of the baseball playoff picture and some other stuff here in just a moment, but I first want to talk about your partnership that you got going on with Merck.
Yeah, this is a great partnership. We're partnered with Merck and Women Heart to bring awareness to hopefully to the entire country and to the world. This is what Darryl Kyle died of in 2002, and Darryl was such an incredible piece of Cardinals history. He never won a World Series, but he had such an influence on so many of us that ended up being winning players because of the type of kind of professionalism and legacy that he brought into the clubhouse. Taught guys how to be professionals, taught guys how to act on and off the field. You know, they obviously a great pitcher, and so he was able to teach pitching. But I think more than that, we in St. Louis we have an award called the Darryl Kyle Award, and it goes to the person on the team that they think represents a fine father, a great teammate, tremendous in the community, and just a person of fine character. And that was really what Darryl Kyle represented. And so many great players came from the teachings of Darryl Kyle. So it means a lot to be associated with this program because of what Darryl brought to the Cardinals.
Adam, let's talk baseball. As I mentioned, the Brewers are officially in the playoffs, but it's a pretty tight race between 7 teams who are all just 4 games out. One of them, the St. Louis Cardinals, just 4 games out of that last wild card spot. How do you sort of see the last couple weeks shaking up here?
Well, I said this weeks ago, and I got kind of crushed for it in the media, but I said the Cardinals are going to come down the last 3 days with a chance to play for a wild card spot, and that's very true. Unfortunately, I don't know. I haven't checked the box score last night, but they had lost 5 straight games and not lost any games in the wild card. If they had just won 3 or 4 of those, even 2 of those would be really, really in the hunt. But to your point, there's so many teams that are going to be playing for those final spots. Really, the Mets kind of opened up the door for that by going on kind of a bad streak there for a while. But there's a lot of teams in play. The Milwaukee Brewers are playing great baseball. They clinched yesterday or the day before. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with because they pitch and they score runs and they're exciting. They're fast and they move runners. They play defense. They do all the things you got to do. But there's a lot of really stacked teams in the National League. It's going to be very interesting.
Well, let's talk more about that because quite a polar opposite situation for one of the lowest payrolls across Major League Baseball, smallest media markets in the Milwaukee Brewers to become the first to clinch a playoff spot that had expectations of being on a 500 team coming into the season, whereas the Mets behind Juan Soto's 15-year, $765 million contract as the second highest payroll, around $339 million, are on the doorstep fighting for a playoff spot. Payrolls in Major League Baseball, what are your thoughts on its contributions and how it correlates to success, wins, and honestly titles?
Well, it's pretty important. I mean, it is. It certainly helps. If you look at the Dodgers and the Yankees, the teams that are in it perennially, they spend money to pay the great players of the game. You have to have a few great players. Well, I think when you look at what the Brewers have done, the Tampa Bay Rays have done for years, the teams that have the lower salary dependency upon their teams, it's teams that do an incredible job of developing players. And by all accounts, the Milwaukee Brewers have maybe the best pitching development program in all of Major League Baseball. So that's why they're able to trade guys and keep bringing up these incredible arms and pitchers, because they just do a great job developing those guys. But you have to think outside the box when you're a small market team like that. Otherwise, the Cardinals would love to be the Los Angeles Dodgers. They just would. They would love to have an unlimited payroll possibility and go out there and sign all the best players. That would be great. They're just not.
Adam, with the minute or so that we got left with you, I mean, obviously you've had so many interesting things that you've done in your career after you've done with baseball. We've seen you on Fox Sports. Obviously, we're talking about a lot of the initiatives you're doing from a health standpoint as well. There's been talk maybe you want to get into politics. Where do you want to sort of see the next chapter of your life going here?
Right now, I'm having fun broadcasting games with Fox, and then I'm having a lot of fun creating music and being a traveling country music star when I'll say star, maybe a country music struggling musician. How about that? When I have an opportunity to do that too. But writing songs and playing in front of crowds is about as close a thing as there is walking onto a Major League Baseball field. So I'm having fun doing those things, but I'm not going to miss. I spend a lot of time away from family. I got to make sure I'm coaching Little League games and being there when I can.
All right, Adam Wainwright, such a pleasure to have you here. Thank you. And all right, guys, we're going to see you on X on Tuesday for Front Office Sports' big tuned-in event. Adam Silver, Rob Manfred, Stephen A. Smith, Maria Taylor, the list goes on. And of course, we're going to have a show for you on Wednesday that's going to be a clips of all of the good interviews that Renee and I did. We'll see you guys tomorrow on X. Bye.
Remember these names: AZ Fudd, Olivia Miles, Lauren Betts. Depending on who wins that lottery, that's going to depend